Gods and goddesses in training, welcome back to the channel. It's Uncle Makura, back at it again with another video. Today we're talking all about how to speak with friends from the other side. Break on through to the other side, okay? And how this all kind of started for me, okay? So, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the story of Osho's enlightenment. It's a very interesting one. He was talking about how, for many, many years, he would wake up at 3 in the morning and be very disciplined, take a bath in the river and come back. And, he led a very strict life. Up until a point where he decided, I want to live an ordinary life and wake up at 9 and, drink tea and do what everybody else is doing. And in that moment, I think, and this is a personal interpretation, he humbled himself through that process. And he started to not cling so tight towards the idea of it being very certain and perfect. Because when he realized that he is divine perfection, in a sense, okay? There is no attaining or achieving enlightenment. I already am that. That is the realization, and that is why he laughed. Because he was under this specific tree that he was meditating under. And he started laughing, and the gardener came up to him and said, "Is everything okay?" He said, "Yeah." "You already think I'm crazy. Now I've gone completely crazy," okay? I think that's a really, really interesting story. Now, if we break it down towards having guides or spiritual guidance in any way, think about it as your own inner voice, okay? Start there. Think of it as the voice of your higher intuition, okay? You will start to notice that you have something called blind spots, okay? Now I wanted to talk about this in today's video because we don't see our blind spots. Other people point it out to us. Okay, and this is why it's important to have feedback and mentorship and so forth, okay? You could be making the same mistakes and not correcting them, and that's slowing down your survival value, and it's actually making you more unproductive, okay? Why? Because mistakes distract us from our abilities, as Rick Rubin says, okay? This is a statement that I got from my business coach, Joe. What is true to you is profound revelation to everybody else, okay? You might have some specific truth, but you might tell somebody else from a different context, different country, different walk of life, and it will blow their mind, okay? Because they would not even be able to fathom what you have experienced. And that's kind of an important reminder, I think, in this process. Because this is a very subjective experience. Your spirituality is very subjective, correct? It's your own internal experience. And it takes extreme trust and faith for you to say, okay, I'm going to trust another individual on this journey alongside me who believes or matches in the same ways in my efforts towards a spiritual path working. See, the thing is, I could have a conversation hours about spirituality, right? And have it go nowhere. And that's the beauty of this thing, guys. You realize that that's the art. It's endless. It's infinite. It gives us a sense of freedom. Spirituality should never shackle you. Spirituality should never divorce you from your mind and body. Okay? I think real spirituality is authenticity, is being able to live effortlessly. Live in that path of least resistance, as we call it. And you ask yourself 4 questions. What can you talk about endlessly? Reflect back to the last 5 to 10 years of your life. What was around then? What did you grow up around? Okay? And stranger feedback. What do others immediately say about you upon meeting you? If you have these four things very clear, you'll understand that that theme of all of them interconnecting, interweaving into one specific vibration, one theme altogether, that's your path of least resistance. And you've got to be doubling down on that now. Now is the time, okay? But how you actually get better at art is actually being objective, if that makes sense. Because if you're naturally a very creative person, you understand that if you're collaborating with someone, this is just a thing to occur. It is not personal to you. You're both trying to get some product, some artwork out there, right? Now, the challenges happen when the subjective realities start to clash. And we have to start to, stop taking things so personally. That's the art form. Okay? We have to distance our own storyline from theirs. Their storyline is different to yours. But now you're merging paths in this weird cameo, right? A crossover episode, you could say, where you're blending worlds. And now it's going to be a different understanding towards that. So I'm giving you a bit of a background before I start to break down how to tap into, these different deities and so forth. So on this path working, I was doing a lot of experimentation, okay? Like Osho, I was very disciplined. So every single day, I would close my eyes and start to channel. This was for like 2 or 3 years, right? I would just do this. And I would listen to gamma waves specifically. Gamma waves are the fastest brain waves that we have available to us, okay? So it's very, very quick. And it can actually dehydrate you. So I used to drink a lot of water trying to kind of recuperate from that, because I would be very mad tired, after I would get these spikes of, gamma spikes and eureka ideas and all these, downloads coming through. So I did that for, I think, an entire month before I started to realize that there are these different downloads actually coming through. One of them coming from my crown chakra, it seemed like. And then I started to explore my starseed lineage, and then I just put 2 and 2 together, right? Maybe there's a specific being associated with my starseed lineage, also associated with my crown chakra, and that's when I made that link. And we also came to this realization that each chakra is a portal, each chakra is a world, and so you have a specific deity that will help you access that world, okay? So this is kind of the idea that I had, and this is also inspired by Spirit Walker from IMC Nation Tech. You basically have an entity or deity associated with each chakra point that's going to help you with the theme of your life. And ultimately, once you can have all of them together, and the visualization here is very simple for this, you imagine all of the different deities together of all of your 7 chakras, playing almost like an animated chibi version, like a cute version to your subconscious, so it reminds you of your childhood and it implants in that nostalgic feeling, okay? And it will create something amazing in your life, because you will start to notice that your synchronicities will start fusing faster, and this is one of the realizations that we made on our Pathworking Primal Sutra, okay? If you're unfamiliar, we have a particular mystery school, okay? We're taking in new people, 2 spots left, okay, for the $69 a month trial. If you're interested, it runs out this month, so definitely make use of the opportunity. Again, 2 spots left, okay? So, after they're gone, okay? That's up to you. I'm looking for an action taker, okay? I'm looking for an action taker, someone who can be like, boom, this is what I want to do, and I want to invest in these guys, because they clearly know what they're doing and talking about, okay? And if you think I don't, then, okay, let's speak about it. Look, okay, test me, challenge me on this thing, because I want to really refine these ideas, and I'm open-minded to learning. I learned so many things from my different students, and I humble myself constantly. So I'm open to learning. I'm not like gonna push your ideas away or whatever. I'm gonna consider them if they are valid, okay, if they seem reliable. I've had so many people tell me, I don't know who I am, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I want. And then they proceed to tell me, either through their body language or through their statements, who they are, what they're here to do, their real passions, okay? And this is a weird thing, right? It's like on the outside world, we, demonstrate that we're so helpless or whatever. But on the inside, we have all of these hidden gifts, ideas, and things just bubbling up to the surface that we might not even have integrated, or maybe we're not proud of it, or whatever it is, right? So all of these internal ideas that haven't found a home, you need to give them a home. You need to give them a place to stay in your internal world. Otherwise, they're going to vacate themselves, or they're going to find ways to make a ruckus or uproar in your internal world, okay? So if I haven't properly integrated the criminal within me, I'm going to keep doing crime. You guys get that? If I haven't integrated the bad boy within me, I'm going to unnecessarily get into dangerous situations, okay? And random altercations with people. If I haven't integrated my soft lover boy side, I'm going to become codependent, okay? And I'm going to allow that persona to take a life of its own. You see what I'm saying? So archetypically, you got to know the character, the avatar that you're stepping into, and then from there, you understand that there's infinite avatars, right? But you come back to the ones at your center, your chakras, okay? So that's kind of a vague understanding of it. However, if you want to get more practical wisdom and knowledge, you've got to join the pathworking, okay? Because truly, with the pathworking we're on now, which is more so associated with the solar plexus chakra, because we really believe that we need to get more things done, okay, this time around. That we really want to crack the productivity code, because it's not about the toxic hustle that's out there. We want to find what is authentic and works, okay? And so let's find a system, a new way for ourselves to rebuild ourselves in the context of this new changing, ever expanding earth. And slowly the new earth is being born. So the idea that Osho said is that, you were born enlightened, okay? And every minute is perfect, is a beautiful thought to have, okay? Beautiful thought to have. But now it's time to put it into action. Because if you really are already enlightened, that means that you have infinite possibilities, infinite choices. It's almost that you're getting down off of the high mountain, right? Now you're slowly climbing down and grounding yourself back down into the ideas, because geniuses are outcasts, guys, okay? Geniuses are outcasts and they're introverted, and that idea alone could be keeping you introverted and stuck and lonely, okay? So understand, if you want to start to slowly generate, you got to find your authentic truth and your authentic expression and put it out there. It starts from that. It starts from being seen. Okay? No matter what you look like. I've gone through so many renditions of myself, I still look back and cringe at my old videos. Okay? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have moved on from there. That was then, now is now. You're on a different mission now, different path. And it's not even the fact that you don't blame any kind of trait or external outcome. Just really roll with it and do the best you can, man. Roll with it and do the best you can. You don't need to overwhelm yourself with so many of these things, okay? Symbolize it and move forward. That's what we do as shamans, right? We find the symbols that work for us and with us. And that's how you're speaking to these beings from the other side, because yes, you can light a candle for them or give them tributes and so forth, but more so it's a tribute with yourself, okay? Because that part of you is now manifested as a particular being. Does this make sense? So your dark shadow has manifested as maybe a being from the Goetia, or a darker being, or some kind of a, it could be anything. Like it could be a shadow version of you, it could be a ghost, right? The form The form is really up to the practitioner. And I would say if you're interested in different pantheons, it would be good to reflect on those different pantheons, because sometimes there might be a very deep cultural lineage. Now, what I can do is, using my intuition, I like to muscle test for everything. Okay, I like to use my intuition and test on it to just confirm. Okay, either with myself or with these different deities. Okay, so what I do is I'll tap into the energy of, let's say, Horus, and I'll close my eyes. And I will gain an image of myself and Horus just merging together, and slowly we're merging in consciousness. Okay? And I'm starting there. Like, that's really where I begun, is with these different visualization experiments with the gamma waves, right? So I would imagine myself fusing with these different beings, getting their gifts or energies working together. And we're slowly creating a system now for this. A lot of people on this channel might know this as Deity Rykov, okay? I'm also highly inspired by Vajrayana Buddhism, and so, the whole idea of deity yoga is very, very valid, and I've been going through different retreats for that too in the past. My father, he's a practitioner of that, and he teaches that. So I was also a bit hesitant, when I remember back in the day, I would just go to these Facebook forums and like message, e-shamans, you could call them, okay? Like just people who are maybe shamans or pretending to be shamans online or whatever, right? And ask them a whole bunch of questions. Sometimes I reach cool epiphany, so might be an idea, it's a very interesting to reach out to other people from across the world and get their perspective, very interesting. And this is why traveling is so important. As long as you're traveling in the internal world, your external world will reflect that. So if you haven't traveled in a long time, just make sure that you travel internally, okay? And your ideas for traveling will open up much more, because you're not there physically yet. But I would put on, like, let's say you're going to Las Vegas, put on videos on YouTube of like the Las Vegas walk, like first person, there are recorded versions of that, right? Beaches from across the world. Like before I went to Costa Rica, I would manifest the beaches, right? And I would watch these YouTube walkthroughs, okay? And pretend I was just there and soaking up the environment already. So when I was really there, it'd be like, right? Game over. So yeah, always manifest, always look forwards to something, and always understand that you might have blind spots, okay? When we get a tunnel vision, we actually lose perspective sometimes of what it is. And so what I would recommend, okay, this is Zoom saying this, to zoom out and look at the bigger picture, because this sometimes will really help you in understanding what this is really all about, okay? And less confusion then, because there are times within myself where I recognize this is not attention, this is two deities arguing. Think about this concept, okay? This is not internal stressor, this is two deities arguing with each other. And oftentimes I've noticed that is the case, which is weird, okay? So, like, let's say my throat chakra is arguing with my sacral chakra, okay? It wants to be sexual and creative and expressive in that moment, but there's kind of a throat chakra block towards expressing that through words, because words cannot describe the silence that it is. Okay, so that could be an example. Okay, so that means that, let's just see for my case, so that would be Hermes and yeah, so that's like Hermes fighting with a lust demon. So that's like way different, right? Let's say that my solar plexus chakra is arguing with my third eye being. So the third eye being has a particular vision and the way that it wants things, and my solar plexus wants to go at it in a very specific way, right? And now we've got to merge these beings, first of all, in our minds. We've got to zoom out and see the bigger picture of all the other beings interconnected in between, perhaps, right? And we have to be very analytical shamans at times. This is why it's helpful to have Ryan G on my team, because he gets me to see the logical side of all of this. Because when you explore the unconscious, when you explore the spiritual world, you float away, okay? You get too distracted, and there's too much traffic in the astral, okay? So this is why you have to be smart about this, you have to be well read, and you have to do the work, okay? That's all can be said about this topic. If you're just beginning with this type of work, try this, okay? Think of a deity that you want to tap into, their energy. It could be Krishna, it could be Mahadev, it could be, Yeshua, it could be the Shakyamuni Buddha, whatever it is, okay? Whichever one you pick, I want you to understand, take that energy on as if you're wearing their face like a mask, their armor, you're almost putting on their armor, okay? Like, and slowly as you put on their armor, you're noticing, like, let's say if you're tapping to Shiva's energy, your skin is turning blue or something like this, right? Your hair is growing longer, okay? And you're kind of fusing with the being. And then I want you to understand the connection between that. So the sensory connection between that. So we're going from physical body, mental body, emotional body, energetic body, spiritual body. Okay, so we're making sure that all the 5 bodies merge with this particular being that you have chosen. Okay, so let's say you're choosing the Buddha. You've now transformed somewhat into that energy. You felt the love from the Buddha, you felt the guidance, you've understood that, and now you want to anchor it with some motion. So it could be like this, okay? It could be a mudra that you create, something that you anchor it with, and then, or a noise, right? So either thing can be an anchor, okay? An anchor just basically means that it situates itself. It finds a locus for that energy or that state. So now every time that you, let's say this is the anchor, every time you go like this, you'll feel that same state of mind, right? So you anchor the deity through a mudra, and you create that link, that psychic link, okay? That's going to be self-generated through this anchor. And now, throughout the day, you might be doing this like an unconscious tic or a habit, and it will bring up an image in your mind of the Buddha. And you'll keep doing this, and you'll keep understanding that now I'm really holding the frequency of that being, right? It's now a part of my life and my perception and my worldview, right? Because I've taken on a virtuous mind of compassion. So this is the practice, okay? And again, this is in its experimental phases, so reach out to me if you want to know more about these practices, okay, before you go about practicing them yourself. If you feel like, oh yeah, I can do it all on my own, I know all this stuff already, go try it, okay? Go try it, and then maybe when it doesn't work for you, maybe you can reach out to us then, okay? But stop wasting my time and our time. We're on a much bigger mission here, and we're going straight to the source, okay? Let's get it, Upward Spiral Gang. May we never be the same again. Us. May the flow be with you. Speak soon.